Hello, dear partners. Let me welcome you at the SAP Business One product update related to the Feature Pack 2305, which we did release on July 17th, 2023. I'm here together with my colleague Aris Shapira and also other colleagues from product management, Shai Berkenblit, Maya Schiff, also from the Partner Solution Advisory team. We have Karen Eras and Mark Seifert, and we will guide you through this product update. Before we go into the details, let me remind that whatever we say, especially about the future, is of course subject to change because the future is often unpredictable. And when speaking about the future, we will speak about the roadmap and also the releases which are upcoming. But before we do that, let me do a small step back. We did release the Feature Pack 2305 in the middle of July, as mentioned. And we will also continue releasing the further feature packs and also the future support packs. And we are also sorry that it took some time, actually more than you were expecting. And also that we have actually skipped a few feature packs because it was in the best interest, and also it was actually necessary as we were intensively investing into the foundation of our product. We also shared this message at the partner summits. We were really happy that we could meet all of you at these summits. And we also shared the message that we are investing, and we have been investing significantly into the foundation of the product, into the various aspects of adopting the product standards which SAP has, and also the market standards. And it takes more effort, and this activity will also continue in the upcoming months. And we also hope that with these major investments into the foundation, we could be done roughly by end of this year. And that is why there are also changes in the release types we will have in the next months and quarters. And as mentioned, we will continue enhancing the Business One because we have a solid roadmap, and we also have a very solid installed base, and we are having new and new customers, which is really great. And therefore, we will continue enhancing the product, and it be either through feature packages, which will contain any type of a change, including the innovations and changes in the features, but there will be also so-called support packages, which will contain primarily the corrections and the legal changes. In a very exceptional way, we will also release special release types, which without any upfront scheduling, and this will be the known hotfixes for very urgent corrections, but also special security patches. Besides the main product, we will also continuously enhancing the mobile apps. We have 3 of them, primarily reflecting the iOS and Android changes, but also reflecting also SAP standards to be up to date, and also investing into the stability and the future of these apps. And we also continuously enhancing the cloud, SAP Business One Cloud 1.1. Also, we recently released the patch level 19, also in July, and we will also continue investing in this tool for partners. Also, our roadmap is solid, and we are planning to release a new version of the roadmap on the sap.com in the very near future, hopefully already in August. After we do that, we will of course notify you through our regular channels and also on the LinkedIn. Also, as for the future releases and also for the upcoming feature packs or support packs, you can always get the latest information on the known SAP node. Just bear in mind that there is now the me.sap.com as the central hub for any kind of a node communication, where you find all the nodes, historical ones, but also any new ones, and also the central node for the SAP Business One releases. When speaking about the roadmap, this is the summary of the changes we are planning and which innovations we are planning the upcoming future. The time horizon, of course, besides the very important investments into the foundation, into the stabilization, the standards adoption by SAP, we will also continue investing into the core, and there our main investment is the web client as the future interface of the users, and we will continue extending the scenarios we already have, like sales or purchasing and payments, but we will also later add additional controls, and more importantly, we will now also add in the next feature packs the administration controls. That means that users will be having more controls, and especially partners, more controls for adding additional settings for a company level, settings and setup for the objects which are already available in the web client. We will also continuously innovating and enhancing the product based on the customer feedback, customer and partner feedback from the market. And we will also speak about it today. So we will demo the feedback, and we will also show that which enhancements we delivered based on the customer feedback. And we also reiterate again that the importance of the customer influence. We will also adopt further elements from the intelligent enterprise, which is also very important for SAP, and also promoting this. So there will be a travel expense automation scanning with the help of Azure GPT based on SAP built process automation solution. And we are also planning to introduce the next generation of the user assistants with the SAP Digital Assistant. We will also equally invest also in the enhancing of the Outlook 365. The legal compliance, the localization, globalization covers is basically of very important for SAP. As you know, we have 50 official localizations. We also continue enhancing them and reflecting what the governments are actually requiring from the management systems such as SAP Business One. Therefore, based on the announcements which were made by governments and national administrations for taxes, reporting, and so on, these are the highlights of the changes. With every feature pack or a support pack, there will be a pack of legal changes. There were quite many of them actually in the feature pack 2305. We will display the full list, and also there will be a one demo of the one enhancement in this area. As you can see from the list, just in this preview, there is a pushing, there is really a strong push for adoption more and more of electronic invoices in more and more countries. Of course, we have been invested in this territory previously, also improved the framework, such as the electronic documents framework and the electronic document service. And we are getting ready with the countries as they are announced. Also, there is a trend of the adopting various ecological and packaging taxes, such as in this case, for example, for Italy. There were already some of them in the UK and Spain, which we did deliver. And also there will be other enhancements. Let me go further. I already mentioned that the web client is the key pillar of the future investment for features and innovations besides the intelligent enterprise, because we want to make it, let's say, equally important or even more important than the desktop client in the long term. And we want that as many users actually are using the web client. That's why we are investing and adding more and more functionality. This slide summarizes what is already available. So we have a very strong business process coverage, and we have also the integration capabilities and the extensibility. And the extensibility I will speak more in the next slide. So this summarizes what is already in the product and in the web client. We will also have a demo of the web client later today, covering the enhancements we brought with the feature pack 2305. Analytics are a very powerful aspect and dimension of the web client, with strong capabilities of the object center analytics, the gathering multiple data sources, and also the very powerful user-defined queries, which makes it possible to create any kind of a query and then also visualize it with a very powerful analytical graphical visualizations, and also save it as a kind of a dashboard for future. And there are also the linked views and the contextual analytics. We are just reminding this that it's already available, and we will also in the future invest even more in the analytics. But already today, we believe this is very strong asset and powerful side of the web client. I was speaking about the extensibility options. We are very well aware, we know it, and thanks for all of the feedback you raised on the customer influence, but also at the partner summits you mentioned, and based on the presentations my colleagues Guy, Hassan, and Schreiber made in all the summits. Basically, we are planning to have a web client extensibility even in a broader scope, and we are planning to add also the web client UI API. But before that comes, there are already many options available, and we have a so-called built-in customization possible, and also in-app extensions, so you can actually have a UI mashup. You can also actually do integrations to a service layer, do some apps leveraging SAP Business Technology Platform, where we strongly recommend to also create and develop future side-by-side extensions. When speaking about what is actually available as for the built-in customizations in the SAP Business One web client, So there are the native customization tools. As you know, you can actually modify your home screen. You can actually work with the tile groups and also manage your list views on the detailed view. There are these customizations managing which columns are visible and which not, and also there is support for reporting and layout. And on the analytics, there are many powerful tools that you can create your custom analytics, save them, and also with the predefined settings and the data and the ranges of the values across the dimensions. When speaking about the user-defined properties, so it's already possible to display user-defined fields in the view and the tables and objects as a tile. And I already mentioned the user-defined queries, so you can manage it like a tile and then also visualize it. What is yet missing, but we are working on this, is a user-defined values, previously called formatted search. We are often asked about it. We know it's important. It's important also for us, and this will come, just this is not yet available. All other options without the asterisk, this is already available in the web client and you can use it. Let me summarize all the enhancements in the core solution. Core, we mean that, the core product, excluding the web client, because for the web client, we have another slide. As for the business logic, which are primarily the business process coverage, enhancements, the fine-tunings, the roundups, resulting coming mostly from the customer influence or from meeting you at the summits, at the workshops, and they're invested equally into some administrations and settings functions, the extensibility, as well as the improvement in the processing of documents and settings and setup. Liga already mentioned, there are another enhancements. So based on the country regulations, the national administrations, so they requested certain changes and we basically follow up on that. Again, the list is even longer than this one because there were a lot of follow-ups on the previously delivered legal changes and also adopting the feedback, which was, let's say, raised by you. So we all of this adopted and shipped in the 2305. In the cloud and infrastructure, we continued on the enhancements in identity and authentication management, which was first time brought with Feature Pack 2208. And we added additional controls. Ari will show a demo of it, and also we have a slide actually of it summarizing all of the key enhancements. Very important is that we have confirmed the compliance with the Microsoft Windows 11 support. So with Feature Pack 2305, it's available and confirmed by SAP. It's also coming with the upcoming cloud patch, where we will also confirm finally that this is actually working in this environment. We did a lot, I already mentioned, into the security. So without any specific details, there are security notes covering this. But we did a lot invested into various aspects of security, just to reminding that. And on the extensibility, the primary investments went into the web client extensibility and also further works yet internal on the UI API, but not yet released. But we also extended service layer coverage, and we also had enhancements in the lifecycle management. If I go into specific details of the administration enhancements, so we added a management for a changelog for system setups. This was previously not available. Even for example, the password management is included. And there is also an enhancement in the data archive simplification, especially for the new installations. There is much more advanced password policy, where actually user can first of all track the changelog as mentioned, but there are also the advanced properties, how long the password is, what characters and types of characters are contained, how often it has to be changed, and so on. And on the approval process, there are enhancements in the area of approving and rejecting draft marketing documents, so it can be directly from the report. And also there is a display and printing of the draft key numbers. In the business process, we believe we added, based on the customer and partner feedback from the customer influence, enhancements in the processing of documents. There is a very powerful setting of the reference documents, but especially when duplicating documents, sometimes this reference is not preferred to be copied, despite all other values of the documents are preferred to be copied. So that's why now you can decide whatever you want, whether on the duplicating the documents, the reference document should be really copied. Also, we allow to set whether the opening and closing remarks should be copied to a target document. Another enhancement working also in the web client. And we update the possibility that in the closed pick list for certain type of scenarios, you can still update the user-defined fields. This was also a request from partners. because in certain scenarios it completely makes sense and it was disabled for an important update. There is also a possibility to copy an open-landed cost after creating a broker invoice. Another type of changes were, of course, covering the specific localizations. So we have two changes for Israel, which I have supported with slides. So first one is resulting from a need that there are different types of the non-deductible purchases, purchase tax on documents, on purchase documents in Israel. But as the rate is different and the percentage is also different, there actually is necessary to track it on the document rows. But this was not possible so far in Israeli localization because the tax was managed on the document level only. Despite the rate could be changed, it could not be changed on the row level. So such a requirement to combine a different percentage of the non-deductible rows was actually not possible. And this was a kind of a preparations for the next phases of the other enhancements in this territory. But now actually a user can really decide that there is a deductive tax code, and as you can see with the depiction on the screenshot, the actual tax code is different, and you can actually display the rates in a different way. For example, you may have items which are only allowed to deduct 2/3 or 1/4 of the tax percentage, and now it's possible. Previously, it was actually not possible. There are more details in this SAP note, which we have also here on the slide. Another change for Israel was related to the document, electronic document signature. Here, I really need to stress that this is not a change which is effective only from the January 1st, 2024. It's really about electronic document signature. So now actually what you can do, you can send the marketing documents for digital signature process. It's a special verification and signature process, how the virtual signature, digital signature can be added to a PDF attachment. And what Business One does, it sends the document in the PDF file to a third-party server called ComSign, and then it gets back with the signature, and this proves that the document is valid. This is not yet, as mentioned, the kind of a more advanced communication, which will be effective from 2024. And I can just confirm that we are working on this, and also there will be a special communication about this legal change for partners in Israel in I hope very few days. Another change we did was for Greece, only for Greece, and it is another enhancement to the area of the e-books, which is advanced online reporting for purchase and sales documents. The stamp duty is a special category of the taxes or fees, but this was not supported yet. Also, it was previously it was not a legal requirement, as this was requested with the latest update from the AADE authority and from the My Data portal. What we did is that we have introduced the one-to-one mapping between the items of the issuer, that's on the purchase side, and the recipient's expense classification. So basically, we have introduced a method how to submit the expense classifications on an invoice logic, and this was done previously. Actually, also with the hotfix, now we also have it in the feature pack 2305. And it's really a kind of a new way of handling match expenses based on the updated schema. We are also aware that, again, authorities introducing new requirements. So we are already working and analyzing the changes which are actually also further in this territory. But with feature pack 2305, we cover the stamp duty enhancements on the document rows. So you can select the stamp duty category and other taxes category and the fees category on the document row, and also then create the classification and send this expense classification to have a correct reporting for the ebooks. Another change was for India in the territory of the EDS and the down payment request. So first of all, the TDS, that's a requirement, that's a kind of a change which was also effective previously, that TDS should be deducted at the time of a partner payment or an invoice, and whatever comes or is rolled in earlier. And now our solution is that the TDS, tax deduction at source, as a kind of a document can be assigned in the down payment request. This was previously not possible. Once this request is selected for the payment, then the TDS is deducted, and also the journal entry itself can be updated on the whole amount of the AP invoice to vendor control account. There was a special webinar held for India partners, which was made by my colleague Kana Hrivnakova. There is available recording. You will have this recording link also directly in the update of this in this deck, which you will receive after today's webinar is available. But many of you are probably also aware, and the link is also available on the partner edge. Another enhancement we had was for Argentina, and this contains of two types of changes. So one enhancements were just for Argentina, and the others were for all localizations. I will do a demo of both. For Argentina, the special request was that a fixed asset physical transfer can be included in the transportation document. The transportation document is a very specific document for Argentina, and the fixed asset may be moved and transferred from one location, one warehouse, one location to another. And this is important for the transportation document. For all localizations, the requirement was that landed cost can affect the fixed asset value, especially the base value, acquisition value, which is a very typical scenario that you are buying an asset, let's say a car or an iPhone, and where actually the value of the acquisition or basically the cost of acquisition, such as, for example, transportation or insurance, can affect actually the acquisition value, and then also later can be depreciated, and it can be part of a depreciation round. This was not possible previously, and we will show how it's actually possible. And then also the journal entry numbering series selection is now possible in the depreciation run. So I was speaking about these enhancements. So let me do a demo of all of these changes. So I was speaking that we had the changes in the area of the AP invoice, where we want to purchase a fixed asset. It will be a car. So let's enter this. This is actually a UK localization, just to also have all the accounts in English. We choose one car, and we update the price. And we also add actually values of the project and the distribution rule of the cost center. We have actually 5 dimensions, but we will use only one for this demo. So let's add one dimension with the cost center. We can add it. And as you can see, first of all, we have the purchase invoice. So we see that there are the projects and the departments. That means the distribution rule is actually displayed. But if we open the capitalization, which was created also at the same time, because this was a purchase of an asset, we see that the capitalization also have these values of the distribution rules. In this case, it was departments, and the project also copied to the rows of a document. And also these are actually present on the journal entry behind the capitalization. Of course, logically, the acquisition clearly account, this is an expenditure type account. So there you see that the values from the distribution rules were copied, unlike the asset balance sheet account, which is the other type account. So it's maybe asset or liability. It's actually not storing the value of the distribution rule, because that's how it's not working, and for that we actually don't need the distribution rules. So this was a change for handling of the AP invoices and the cost accounting. Let's go to the landed cost. I was speaking about it when you actually purchase an asset, you might also reflect the acquisition cost, such as the insurance and transportation, also for a fixed asset. So let's take our invoice, which was added seconds ago, and we can add some costs for insurance, enter the value for the insurance. Date it. Mentioned previously, this landed cost is based on the AP invoice, so the value is affected. We can go to transactional journal entry, and we see the posting behind the landed cost, but also we see there is another acquisition, another capitalization journal entry. So we also see that there is an increase in the asset balance sheet account, and also the acquisition clear account is now cleared with the landed cost. So we see that actually also in this situation, actually the the value of the acquisition value for the fixed asset is increased. In this case, it was an insurance which actually increased the value. Of course, this is an option in countries where it is necessary, but this reflects also what the international standards are saying. So let's close it and let's go further for another enhancement, also available in all localizations. We added some enhancement in the area of the document numbering because the depreciation runs previously didn't have a separate numbering series. What you can do now, besides the primary or the only series, you can actually have another series based on the period indicator. So you can really separate it and track it per your preference. So let's go to depreciation run. Let's go to fixed asset section in the menu and then go to the depreciation run. And let's choose also let's see that we can change the series for document numbering. For example, 2023, the number is refreshed. You can also select the period indicator for which posting period actually we are going to add this and run this depreciation run. You can do a preview. And there is another enhancement. So besides the series, what you can do, you can design your own layout for depreciation run. You can also print it. So you can see the pencil of the print layout is available, and the layout can be designed and of course then can be run. What we can do, we can execute with everything. And if we go to a journal entry, we see that also this journal, this series and the number which was determined 105 is also available in the journal entry. That close all the windows. And now let's switch to Argentina. So the changes I will show now are only available in the Argentina localization because they are really reflecting the needs of the country and also reflecting the objects which are only available in this localization. So another further important change is in the, just want to say that it's really Argentina localization. Its address is Argentina. In the fixed assets setup, there is a numbering series. There is a possibility that the folio numbering, which is very special in Argentina with a special functionality, there is a new object type, transaction type supported now, which is a fixed asset transfer, what was not available before. And this, I think, is important for other changes we have made. So let's go further. We go to financials, fixed assets. We go to transfer, and there is a first change. We choose some fixed asset. What you can do, that you can actually change the location of the fixed asset. So currently, just to show you that the location of this asset is in the office, not specifically mention which city it is, but it's basically called office. And we want to change it to a city of Cordoba, so another location, maybe other office or other warehouse, and we change it. So now we basically would see that there is a transaction created from this changing of the location. Moreover, now it's also reflected on the location on the asset master data. When we would want to create a new location, there are also additional controls now. So you can really define the location with more details. So really physical, street, block, and so on. So other properties of address, which can really specify it very, very precisely. Yeah, let's close this. And let's go to a special object transaction in inventory, which is in Argentine localization. And this is the transportation document. So now I already mentioned that the transfer of the fixed assets is supported in the transportation document. And here you see it. So you can copy it from the fixed asset transfer. You can copy actually it directly to this fiscal document for transportation document, which is really a legal implications, and it's considered like a fiscal document similar to invoice. So there is another control and enhancement. You can actually do a filter of various properties, which were not available also before. So you can filter by all these 14 criteria properties. And if you do so, you may select one or more. You can choose it. And you can actually cancel it up to you, and you can proceed further. It was basically all from my side. So Ari, now I would hand over to you, and I will talk about other enhancements later. Ari, to you.
Okay, so hello everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm excited as usual to share with you the latest and greatest from our deliveries. I'll start with IIM and then go to the web client. IIM, basically, we started delivering it in 2208, and we are continuing to deliver content according to your feedback. For example, supporting two-factor authentication, supporting Okta, SAP IS, etc., and also enhancing the binding process. A very important milestone will come with Cloud PL20, which is planned towards the end of this year, beginning of next year, where we will support IIM also for partner-hosted environments. I'll jump right into the demo, which will give you some kind of idea of what we are planning. Give it a second. Okay, so in the first scenario, we are going to create a user for a new IDP, SAP Business One Authentication Service. We're adding a user. We're marking enable two-factor authentication, as you can see. Now, as a second step, we're going to bind the user to databases. As you can see, you can bind them to multiple databases. We'll select one of them, US. Okay, this is updated. Can do the binding now. We will change it to all the databases just for the example. Now we're going to go inside Business One. We enter the username and the password. And now you see that we get a two-factor authentication icon. We get it in the mobile phone, for example, and we enter it inside. Now we can choose one of the companies which are binded. As you can see, we have a list of relevant companies. And we can log in into Business One. In the second scenario, we're going to create a user using a different IDP, IAS for SAP Business One. We'll enter the username. Now we're going to bind the user to the relevant databases. Okay, we'll select all of them. Now we're going to connect login into Business One. As you can see, we have a login screen popping up. We enter the user credentials, and when we are redirected to the IIS for SAP Business One login window, and we can select one of the databases which are binded, and we enter inside Business One. You can also do the same for the web client. Enter the username, redirected to the IIS for SAP Business One. Choose one of the companies. And we are logged in. And the third IDP I want to show in the demo is the Okta IDP. We create the user. Again, the process is similar. We create the user, then we bind it. Okay, select the user. And we can open it directly from here. We want to log in. And we redirect it to the Okta login page. And we can also choose a push notification, which is available in the Okta environment. And we are logged in into Business One. Okay, I hope this was interesting for you. Just a heads up, we will have a webinar around September, I think. Maybe Karen, you can put some details in the chat. We will have a webinar with Kai Sochevsky, one of our experts, which will provide in-depth details about the IAM functionality. And there's also a nice blog. Maybe you can put it, Karen or Maya, in the chat for people who are interested in more details. Okay, now let's talk about my favorite baby, the web client. I'm joking, I also like Business One, of course, but the web client is a special case. In 2305, we continue to deliver content. As you remember from previous sessions me and Peter had, we deliver each feature pack content. This time we focused on enhancing what we already delivered. So we didn't introduce the new objects, but we enhanced the existing objects. So we extended sales, purchasing, service, journal entry, and inventory support. We have included the support for special lines. I know this was mentioned many times, especially by partners in Germany and Europe. So I'm happy to share with you soon in the demo how we did it. So we support text and subtotal lines. Another nice feature is support read-only mode in web client. I'll explain later what's the usefulness of it. We support document opening and closing remarks. We enhance the BP scanning. We extend localization support and analytic capabilities. On the infrastructure side, we enhance the UI framework. We enhance the Horizon team adoption, optimize performance, and optimize the Outlook 365 and Microsoft integration. On the web client side, as Peter mentioned, we are in the journey of supporting web client UI API. So that's currently being developed in-house, and we hope we will be able to share with you the functionality towards mid of next year. A few more details about what I mentioned in a glance. So around the usability, we can display KPIs on save tiles, which is extremely useful. We have a new user action menu for quick launch of modules in the application, and we have an authorization to manage public linked list views. In the delivered objects, we have some nice enhancements. Distribution rules in journal entries. We can add a contact person to existing business partners via card scanning. We support predefined text. Basically, we support different elements in the marketing document, which I will show later on. One of them is predefined text. We enhance the Office 365, share options in activities and return requests, allow to define new email groups. Inventory counting has a lot of new enhancements. You can close document and rows. You can count by multiple unit of measurements. You can highlight rows and fields with variance percentage. Support user-defined field sorting and filtering, and we support distribution rules. As I mentioned, we made a big emphasis on improving the usability of the marketing documents. So we support text and subtotal line types. We support adding table rows, support opening and closing remarks, adding item details column with predefined texts, consolidating business partner details, support AP reserve invoice in approval process, and support linking paid down payments, requests, and invoices. I'll show you in the demo some of the functionalities. It will be easier for you to get a grasp of what we did. In the analytics area, so as mentioned, we support read-only mode. Why it's so useful? So we get a lot of feedback from customers and partners that they want to use the web client immediately, but sometimes some of the extensions are not available yet, and they are not interested to provide access to the web client for transactional usage, but they are really interested to use it for approval processes and analytics. So now we have a chance with a simple trigger to launch the web client in read-only mode. You can safely use it for analytics and approval process purposes, and later on you can open it for transactional usage. So this makes it really appealing to start the journey of the web client as soon as possible. Before I go to the demo, talking a bit about what's coming next. So I will get a lot of questions, me and Peter and the team, of what's the next steps of the web client. So in a nutshell, we have two sides, the business process coverage and the integration extensibility. In the business process coverage, we are going to extend sales and purchasing coverage. We still have some ideas and requests coming from the market. We want to introduce administration and setup in a big way because at the end of the day, we want the web client to be a standalone solution which you can use end-to-end without the B1 client if you're interested. So a big part of it is to have the necessary administration and setup functionality available. Of course, it's a journey. It will not happen overnight, but we're going to start delivering more and more in this area. We want to enhance the financials, which currently is very limited, to extend the payment support, extend inventory management, support project management, extend the production and human resources, and also provide support to the document information extraction service on the AP side. So that's basically the aim in the next few feature packs, where we're going to focus on the business coverage side of the house. From the integration part of the house, the main next step is supporting UI API and UDV within the web client. We understand, based on the feedback we got, including the recent summits, that one of the blockers for mass adoption of the web client is the ability to adapt UI API in the extensions and to have a UDV, or with the former name formatted search, in the web client as well. So this will be the focus looking at the next year at the web client extensibility. And of course, we're going to extend also Microsoft and Outlook 365 functionality. And now I'll go right into the demo. Okay, so as I mentioned already in the previous webinar, we've implemented the Horizon theme. If you want to choose it, you can go to settings and choose Horizon theme. We've enhanced it in 2305. We have a quick selection for modules if you're interested. And we have also an ability to control the KPIs, which is really making the creation of tiles representing list views very simple and powerful. Let me show you what I mean. So you have a list view that you have filtered and customized accordingly. Now you can save it as a tile, which was available also beforehand, but you have a nice new functionality called KPI flag. Once you mark the KPI flag, you can design the KPI which will be presented in the tile in the home page. So I can choose record count or any other relevant field. We will choose a document total, enter a description, of course. The tile was created. And as you can see, we have a new tile with a KPI. So this gives you really a lot of flexibility to design your own experience and focus on the important KPIs you have on your daily business. Sorry, 1 second. Going now back to the B1 client, I want to show you how you are launching the read-only mode of the web client. So you go to General Authorization. There's a new checkbox called Launch Web Client in Read-Only Mode. We select it. We launch the web client. As you can see, the create tiles, if you are looking sharply at the menu, you see they are hidden. We only have the main tiles which open the list view and detail view in read-only mode. We also hide the create tiles in the main menu. So basically, you can use the system fully in read-only mode, including analytics, but you cannot add transactions. Another nice enhancement is about the business part card scanning. We got a lot of requests telling us it's really a nice feature you did, but what happens when you want to create a contact for an existing business partner? So we've listened to your feedback and created another option. First of all, let's create a business partner from a card scanning approach. Let's choose one of the cards. For the first step, we are going to scan and add a business partner inside the system. We've added a business partner. You can see the name. You can see the contact person. And you can also see the attachment. Now we're going to choose the option to create a contact for an existing business partner. So we're choosing the business partner, and we want to add the customer, the contact person inside. Choose the business partner, we scan again. Contact person is being updated. We go to the same business partner. You can see the second contact person was added with the relevant details, and the attachment is also updated correctly. And another very nice scenario is the line types. Let's start with selecting a customer in a sales order. Now here you can see already that you have several options. Regular text subtotal, you can choose the line type. I'll choose text, enter an item description. Now let's select the items themselves. And let's select the subtotal. You can see that the text lines are marked in green and the subtotals are marked in purple. Here you can see the subtotal. You can add another subsection. And let's select a few items. Okay, good. Now we select another subtotal for the subsection. And if you select another subtotal, you have a grand total, which is marked in blue, which represents the accumulation of two subtotals. We also support the item details column, including ability to select from predefined texts. Okay, let's add some additional information. We also support opening and closing remarks, and we can enter them manually or insert predefined texts. Okay, all seems in order. We forgot to add closing remarks, so let's go to edit mode and add closing remarks. In the same way, you can either choose predefined texts or select to enter manually the remarks. Another nice enhancement is the support of inventory counting by unit of measurement. So basically, you can count now by unit of measurement. You choose the unit of measurement, pallet in our example, enter the quantity. Counted quantity is calculated automatically. You also can select cartons in this example. And also six packs. As you can see, the total counted quantity is updated each time you enter a value. We can see the inner warehouse quantity was different than what was counted, so we will see a difference later. Okay, we can see the difference. Okay, now I'm going to talk about something else. Let's open the business partner. Some of the features I'm showing to you already are introduced in the previous feature pack, and some are new, but I want to show you the full scenario. So let's assume you have a case where you are doing business with a business partner and you notice his credit limit is quite high, 96%. You want to investigate what's the real situation with this business partner. We can use a functionality called link, analytic links, which allows you to link an analytical card into the business partner. For example, I can investigate the inventory aging of this business partner. So basically, I create a user-defined query and connect it via the link to the master data. Here I can see the information for all the customers, but I'm interested in the information for the specific customer, so I created another list view with filtering by the customer. Let's see how it looks like. Now you can see that it's filtered to a certain customer. And by the way, this is really a very cool idea, a cool example, which shows you that you can do a lot of things by just using your imagination. You can really analyze the business processes on a step-by-step way to give you insights when you're doing business with your customers. So this is just one example in inventory aging, but you can create a whole universe of analytic information. What's new in 23.05 is some management options in this console where you link the user-defined queries to the master data. Just a reminder, you can see that here we don't have filters, but in the inventory aging by customer, you have filters which match the customer code in the query to the customer code in the business part and master data. You can decide to deselect some of the queries if you're not interested to see them anymore, or move the sorting order, the sequence basically. Now you can see the sequence and the default queries will change accordingly. Okay, so I'm going to hand back to Peter. I hope that you enjoyed the session, and I welcome you to implement the web client. Peter, back to you.
Thank you, Ari. So let me share again. I hope you can see it. Intelligent automation for SAP Business One, and you can also hear me, correct? Let me just remind and summarize that we have further invested into the intelligent automation for Business One. That's part of the overall umbrella of increasing the automation and intelligent enterprise adoption for SAP Business One. This topic is overall driven by Simona Marinche, and it was also presented with several sessions at the partner summits. What is important to stress that there is a new set of the Open SAP courses. Of course, they were running live some weeks ago, but you can still take them. And I will recommend that you explore all these possibilities, because the SAP Build Process Automation actually helps customers to maintain the AI services free of and also free up the employees from some repetitive and prompt tasks. Previously, we delivered some set of bots with the side-by-side business cases. So there are the 7 automation best practice templates. The most recent was the product written request automation workflow. And also there are the new templates for the embedded business cases, for intelligent invoice scanning, and also for business partners creation, and also updates on the business partner business card scanning. So there was also an update of the business card scanning because previously there was some limitation or restriction that you could not really create a business partner if you are missing some property. So this was also enhanced slightly. Let us show an update about the upcoming partner preview program. We will have a support package 2308, and also we will have a support package for 2311. And we expect that the SP 2308 should go out roughly around the end of September. But previously, we will have some preview running, expecting to start on the August 21st. This support package is rather small, containing only 2 legal changes and a few urgent corrections, plus a few security fixes. We will also invite a limited number of partners this time because it's still also a holiday season, and also because really it's only covered for a few changes, and therefore the maybe a bigger update and bigger involvement of partners not necessary. As for the support package 2311, it's currently planned for preview in November, and also the release to customer is planned for mid-November. So this is still subject to change, but this is what we foresee as of today. And we will contact you through our colleagues and the partner solution advisory team, and you will be notified about this is going to happen. Just a reminder, when you are taking part of the partner preview program, of course, it's free of charge for you. But it's basically bi-directional. Basically, we share the prepared product package upfront with you, usually a week, 2 weeks ahead. And we also expect some feedback back, whether everything's fine or whether you find some issues. So, of course, we're working closely then with you, also through our support colleagues, product management and development. But we really appreciate that you give us a feedback back, whether actually it's working as it should, very smooth, no problems, or you also report the issues through incidents, or you share some feedback through a work zone where we are also discussing the overall feedback with you. Let me also remind that we are running the SAP Customer Influence, which is the open forum for any SAP Business One partner or a customer with as-user account. At a certain point of time, there will be also change on the authentication. So inside of the as-user account, most likely SAP Universal ID will be used. But it's also important to say that you can use it, and there are thousands of partners and customers participating. We have reached a threshold of the 5,000 improvement requests submitted, and also with 2305 we have delivered a set of enhancements. And after the holidays in Europe, we will also do a regular annual review. For those who are completely new to the topic, so it's really a channel, a forum through which any customer, any partner can submit an idea for improvement. But you don't have to just actively create a new one. Maybe such a request or very similar one already exists. So there you can also vote. And maybe in the first step, you can just view or whatever all ideas are actually there. Many of them are already delivered, also some of them with 2305, and also many in the previous feature packs or other channels. And the cycle usually is that when you submit an idea, we have moderators who are from product management, who are assigned to the various areas of the functionality and tools, and then they are reviewing your idea and further qualifying it. So basically, the first step usually in the status flow is that the idea is submitted. The next step is acknowledged when the idea makes sense, and we believe that it makes sense to let it further for voting, and maybe one day we will implement it. When we are already planning the idea, we set it to the accepted status. But on the other hand, when we are not planning to deliver this change basically anymore, or basically never plan it, we also say directly, we also explain the reason why we are not planning it. Maybe either SAP strategy, or there may be some other technical constraint, or the priority. Under review, idea is when we have a mandatory or annual review, which usually runs in October, November. We also planned this year. There are timelines on the homepage of the Customer Influence for SAP Business One. This link will bring you directly to the homepage. and you also will learn all the information about the history, the blogs, and the information. Very important criteria is the 25 votes, which means that this is a kind of like a qualification besides other criteria. Of course, the desirability that there is a demand from new partners and customers is important, but also the reason needs to be there needs to be a business viability. So it also makes for our strategy, for the priorities of the SAP board and the SAP strategy, and also it's technically feasible, because sometimes the idea is really beautiful and we would be happy to have it, but it's extremely technical, challenging to do it. That's why we also openly share sometimes that we're not planning to invest in this area because it's not in line with SAP strategy, or it's technically not really in line what we are planning. And it's an opportunity for you partners, especially SSPs, to develop a solution, either as a SAP Business Technology Platform application or a traditional as an add-on. So that's actually also an opportunity. And when we basically say it's not planned, maybe it's a direction for you that we will not look into this territory. So that's in a nutshell actually what we do. After we deliver, we have a solution like with 2305. We then change the status of the idea improvement request into a delivered. We also provide the reference in which quarter it was delivered. We also provide in the text, in the comment, and information in which feature pack or channel it was delivered. And also we sometimes provide reference to the SAP note or to a blog where we provide more details about this change. Also, what is important that we are having very active SAP community for SAP Business One and SAP Business One extensibility topics. So it's one of the most visited pages on the SAP communities. We are happy for that. We are happy you are active, because that's basically a channel through which you share your experience, the comments on the functional enhancements, and give us feedback. It's not that much about the enhancements and the requests for improvements, but more about the enabling and consulting, and you can really consume the professional content. You can also provide feedback to this content and give us some additional feedback on whatever aspect, and you can also consult with the community members. Thousands of you are actually active in this, and we just encourage that you continue doing so, because it's amazing. Also from our side, from product management and the development, it's also we are present, and we share also our blogs and the other content through this community and the other information. There is also a basically completely new web analytics partner community where you can especially exchange the ideas on the web client analytics. As mentioned, it's very powerful part of the web client, and you can share additional content and experience and feedback for this. You can exchange ideas and analytics views with other partners, and we also encourage you to join with the QR code. You can do it very, very quickly. And last but not least, actually, there is a Web Client Analytics Challenge. So it's a brand new analytics training program for partners, and in a 3 ways winning opportunity. So you can also become an expert who leverages the web client sophisticated analytics tools. And you can also get a consulting knowledge badge, and then you can add it to your LinkedIn profile. And the only thing you need to do first is to join this partner group for Web Client Analytics, and then also win a special award. So with the QR code, you can do it very quickly, or also with the URL after you get the PowerPoint. Last but not least, or kind of like a closing message for the moment, we really encourage you to explore version 10, the latest feature pack 2305. Also the web client, based on enhancements we have brought, and also that you start exploring and adopting the business technology platform. I think we still have time for Q&A. We try to respond some questions during the Aris or my presentation, but still we have a few questions pending. I'm not sure you can see actually my Q&A screen, but I
think maybe we can just go over the questions which are still open and try to answer them.
Yeah.
By the way, before you start, Peter, I answered in some of the questions that are good ideas, but I really recommend for product enhancements to use this customer influence portal, as Peter mentioned, because then there's a chance for the community to give their votes, and we can see how important is it or not. So I highly recommend to log the ideas in the portal, and then we can see the priority and answer accordingly. Yeah, sorry, Peter, go ahead.
Yeah, we have a first question from Carlos Morales Mercado. Problem with data purification wizard, whether it was correct or not, the question. To be honest, I don't know. I would have to take it offline. Ari, do you know?
I'm not sure what is the exact topic. Maybe you can catch us offline. We can discuss it.
We will share emails. Actually, I can share it right away. And maybe you can contact via email and we can direct you to a right colleague, because I'm also not completely sure what's the subject or what is really the problem, what was previously. The next one is from Shannon Kennedy. Will there be any updates discussed for the client to address the ongoing issues in prior feature pack? We, of course, address a lot of issues which were reported previously with previous feature packs, but I'm not sure what specifically you have in mind, Shannon, to be honest. It's probably for the web client, maybe if it's mentioned the client. Ari, anything which ranks the bill for you?
Again, it's very vague, so we need to get more specific questions. I just wonder if we can unmute the colleague if they want to ask the question now.
Maybe a moderator. I think there is a way how to do it with, I'm not sure, #key 6 or. Moderator, can you help us to open the line for questions live on the phone? Maybe not possible. Not sure. So, yeah, Shannon, if you can describe it a bit more in the chat, we will come back to it at the end of the list. So, okay, let's go further. There is a very specific question for the fixed assets. If the asset was purchased for department project, does the asset get associated to those projects, distribution rules, when distribution run is done? So basically, the enhancement is in the area that when you are doing a purchase of a fixed asset through an AP invoice, the said departments, such as the distribution rule of a cost center and the project, they are then, of course, saved with a document row, and also they are saved with a document with the journal entry rows, with the type of an account, GL account, which is used. And then this is also included into the capitalization transaction, for example. But the asset itself, I would not say this is associated to those project and distribution rules. But my colleague Gana, if she's here, she can correct me. But I think that's not associated to the asset itself. It's on the transaction actually saved. Transfer of a fixed asset is not specific to a localization. As I think this appeared several times. We will consolidate it for other localizations. First of all, this transfer, that's really, it's about the changing of the location, which was very specific for Argentina, but we will consider it also for the other countries and for other localizations. So thanks for this feedback. Gana will follow up on it with our colleagues internally, and maybe also with you, with partners, whether this makes sense also for other countries based on this feedback. There's a question from Stefan Kamphoff about that 2305 and the HANA version is only supported on Intel Sapphire CPU. Not really sure. I'm not sure I would take this conclusion. Maybe Guy or Shai, could you respond? Otherwise, we will have to take it offline. Shai?
I'm not aware there's any big change, Peter. We can check it offline. Maybe you can drop us an email, Stefan, but
I'm actually...
yeah, you can send a mail and I will check it.
Okay. Okay, Ari, you will answer. Maybe put an email address to Shai. Thank you. Another is from Eric Gomez, probably from Mexico. Federal tax ID is mandatory to create a business partner. Yeah, we are aware of it. The scanning business cards cannot create a BP because of this. We will look into it. I believe now you can actually modify the business partner, so you can conclude, but you have to know the federal tax ID. And usually I would not expect the federal tax ID is on a business card. But I get your point. We have a colleague who will look into it. But of course, you will need to know this federal tax ID because on the business card, it's not available. or I'm not sure what you would expect for this situation. Another question for a fixed asset for the inventory aging count. We have not actually did any enhancement in the inventory aging count. Maybe it's a question to web client Ari, maybe so.
No, I don't think so. I think the inventory aging is only in the B1 core.
Yeah. So maybe you could ask it in the community. It's more like a consulting question. I'm not sure. Maybe Ari, you could ask. This is about really inventory.
We can drop an email and we'll find somebody to give feedback.
Yeah. Please drop us an email and we will find the correct owner. Thank you.
The next one, again, it's a common requirement. So my answer is it's a nice idea to support multiple bonds for the same item with different projects, but note it in the customer influence portal, and then we can judge the importance and get feedback from the community. It's currently not planned, by the way, not in the next feature packs. And the next question is a good question. When we will release Web Client UI API? So we are working on it. I would say this is the planning horizon is towards mid of next year. But again, don't catch me on my word because it's planned. We will make all the efforts to have a delivery mid of next year. And if all goes well, we will share also the environment beforehand so we can get your feedback. But more will come and we will share with the community the progress. Of course, we will not wait until mid of next year to share the progress with you.
Yeah, I can just say that it's absolutely important for us, and it's one of the highest priorities for the future feature enhancements and the partner enablement. Also, we have several sessions on this topic in the partner summits in all 3 locations, and Guy Hasson and Shai Berkenblick did a session on this topic before the release, the target release in which we will deliver these enhancements. Major controls, definitely there will be a preview and we will collect, so we will notify you when there is a preview and you can share feedback with us for it. So we are really working on it, just it takes more time. What's the future of Crystal report? We will continue adopting this for the business one, and also there will be some update on the version. But overall, I'm not really aware about details of the other department on the Crystal report. At the moment, we don't plan to replace it in Business One. Does HANA B1 support view like SQL view, or is there any document configuration? Maybe it's more Shy.
Yes, Peter, what was the question?
Whether SAP B1, whether actually HANA B1 support view like SQL view, or is there any document configuration? It's basically this question. I'm not sure you see the screen.
I can see on the screen only a thank you slide.
Okay, so the question is, do HANA B1 support view like SQL view, or is there any document configuration?
You mean, I think that the person who asked the question means a feature that currently only exists on a SQL view. In HANA, we have a way to consume calculation views and HANA views. So this feature, a similar feature exists in HANA. I can maybe take the mail of the person who asked the question and send a more accurate answer about this.
Yeah, basically, the question is from anonymous attendee, but you can contact me or Ari and we forward it to Shai, or you can correctly contact Shai, absolutely.
Yeah, but a similar functionality exists in HANA. The reason for this functionality is that we didn't have it on SQL, so we created especially this one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there is an issue of another question is from Joel Wangi, the issues of stock transfer in branches. That's maybe too general. Maybe you can share more. via raising, if it's really an enhancement necessary, so on a customer influence, or share us an email, send us an email and describe the issue in more details. What is the issue?
Yeah, the next one I already answered one of the colleagues about data approval process. That's a good idea. As mentioned before, raise a customer influence proposal to see how many votes we get, and we will consider it for the future, but it's definitely a good idea.
Next question is from Henky. If SAP can provide income statement for project which can be drilled down into project stage, that's currently not planned, but maybe you can suggest it for the customer influence. Next question from Julio Tome. Authorization module by query is going to be available for service layer integration. Maybe Shai, you could again pick on this.
I'm trying to find the question.
Julio Tome.
Towards the end.
Approval templates with query conditions. Okay. But where is the original question? I see.
The question is, authorization module by query is going to be available for service layer integrations? Maybe you can type answer manually when you find
Okay,
that.
it's something I need to check. You know, it's very specific topic, so I need to check this.
Okay. Shai, if you don't mind, I'll put in the chat your email, so some of the topics they can connect you directly.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, Carlos is writing that he will send us an email about to explain better the problem in the wizard. When SAP will be released for Windows 11, this is supported with Feature Pack 2305, and it's planned for Cloud patch level 20. 2305 is already supported. We have also mentioned it also in the beginning of this call. It's also in the slides. Do you have a plan to give an option to enter project code in the fixed assets capitalization? Not at the moment, but maybe you can. There is not a plan, I would say, but maybe you can suggest it as an enhancement in the customer influence, or maybe find such enhancement. I'm not sure, maybe it's there. Okay, the Julio Tome responded again about the approval templates with query conditions. Okay, I think this will be discussed offline. If the SAP budget can be further expanded into account and cost center budgeting, and this is more like a consultation question. We have not done any enhancement now in the SAP budgets. So I think this is the budgeting across the GL accounts, which is not planned in the near future. Ari for the web client, journal entry preview.
This will be planned. It's not available yet, but it's in the backlog.
Will it be possible to add, from Kamila Marszalek, will it be possible to add more document types to data ownership? I think not planned at the moment, but we will consider it. Or Shai, anything about that?
I think your answer is correct. There is no plans at the moment.
Okay, Camila mentioned the warehouse document, clear. As the machine learning cockpit for B1 being added to the roadmap, we are planning to have a new roadmap. The machine learning is not there mentioned. Of course, we are looking into it, but it's a broader, complex topic. On the intelligent enterprise and automation, we are looking into the leveraging of the Azure GPT for the user assistance and the other scenarios. But the machine learning cockpit, it's a more advanced functionality. It's currently not part of the roadmap.
Peter, I see there's a question we maybe overlooked. When will SAP be released for Windows 11? And the answer is...
I said it. Just a minute
said
ago.
it already? Okay. But we skipped it.
2305, it's available, and the patch level 20 for cloud, that's planned.
Okay, cool.
Okay, can we have an enhancement on the stock transfer between branches? Maybe you can raise a suggestion on the customer influence. Maybe there is such already. Okay, we restrict all profit and loss accounts to allocate cost center. Again, this is more like a consultation question, so maybe you raise it in the community, or if it's a request, so in the customer influence. Another question, maybe for you, Shai, authorization on user-defined objects, availability, the plans for it.
I need to check. I think we have it. The authorizations for UDVs, not UDVs, for UDOs. I think we already have it, but I will check.
Okay, I think we reached the end of the list, so we answered almost 60 questions. If you have any other question, especially about the enhancements, the roadmap, and what was in the 2305, you can contact us on these email addresses. When you have a consultation question, of course, the SAP community is the best channel for it. And I think we can just say thank you. Thanks a lot for your commitment and the trust into product and staying with us. And we will share further updates when they are released. The next one will be the roadmap update, which we are planning in upcoming weeks. Thanks a lot.
I joined Peter. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.